The first light of dawn tore across the desert horizon, casting a blood-red glow over the tarmac. The silence was shattered by the sudden roar of engines. Overnight, 3,200 Marines had been mobilized, bussed from 3 different barracks straight to waiting C-17 Globemaster III transports. The rear ramps were down, yawning like steel mouths, ready to swallow men and machines alike. Forklifts rattled across the concrete, dragging pallets of ammunition, portable generators, field communications gear, and crates labeled high explosive, handle with care. MRAPs, armored trucks, and tactical buggies rolled up the ramps, their tires thudding against the steel floor. Soldiers loaded beside equipment, strapping down everything with military precision. The C-17s were scheduled to make stops at 2 additional bases, picking up another 1,800 troops and hundreds of tons of gear before heading to the Middle East. No one knew how long the deployment would last. Faces were tight, movements sharp. The tension was tangible. As the last forklift withdrew and the ramps began to rise, the first aircraft taxied into motion. The ground shook under its weight. Engines roared like angry beasts. This was no drill. Every second mattered. Every action was rehearsed, but still fraught with urgency. The countdown had begun, and the gears of war were turning at full speed. The sun had barely pierced the horizon when the apron erupted into controlled chaos. 24 fighter jets, including F-35 Lightning II and F/A-18 Super Hornets, lined up like predators ready to strike. Mechanics moved with robotic precision, inspecting avionics, radar systems, and engine panels. Each check repeated dozens of times to guarantee perfection. Fuel trucks hissed as JP-8 kerosene gushed into tanks, gauges ticking steadily. Weapons crews hoisted AIM-120 missiles onto wingtips, while guided bombs GBU-39 were mounted under the wings. Wiring and arming pins checked meticulously. Every bolt, every data link, every alignment was verified. The jets gleamed under the rising sun, lethal and ready. Meanwhile, cargo handlers loaded armored MRAPs, tactical buggies, and crates of advanced field equipment into waiting C-17. Over 500 tons of gear would be delivered across multiple sorties in the next 48 hours. Soldiers moved in silence, the weight of deployment pressing on them. No one knew when they would return. As engines roared to life, the first jets began taxiing. The air was thick with heat and anticipation. Every second counted. The clock was ticking. This was escalation at a scale most could only imagine. If you want to see the full deployment unfold in shocking detail, hit that subscribe button now and follow the mission as it continues. The hangar was a hive of silent urgency. Rows of duffel bags, rucksacks, and crates stretched into the shadows. Soldiers moved methodically, folding uniforms, packing boots, hygiene kits, and personal gear. Every strap tightened, every zipper clicked, preparing for a deployment with no return date in sight. 1,900 Marines and soldiers were being readied for the first wave. Each C-17 would carry up to 300 troops and 120 tons of equipment, including portable generators, medical supplies, and crates marked explosives, authorized personnel only. Tactical vehicles lined the floors, MRAPs, armored buggies, and trucks, all secured with chains and straps, ready to roar off the ramp at a moment's notice. The heat inside the hangar pressed down like a physical weight. Faces were tense, hands precise. Nobody spoke. Every movement was measured, rehearsed, inevitable. The soldiers knew the mission ahead could last 45 days or more, and every second spent packing could be the difference between life and death in the field. As the final duffels were loaded, C-17 ramps closed with a metallic groan. Engines roared, vibrations crawling through the soles of boots. The first aircraft began its taxi, disappearing into the pale orange dawn. The mission was underway. Every heartbeat echoed urgency. The C-17S pierced the twilight sky, descending onto a sprawling base in the Middle East. Dust swirled like smoke from a distant fire as ramps dropped and soldiers poured onto the tarmac. The first wave consisted of 1,800 troops, joined by over 200 armored vehicles, including MRAPs, tactical buggies, and heavy trucks. Forklifts and flatbed carts moved at a furious pace, unloading pallets of medical supplies, ammunition, and portable generators. Soldiers grabbed their duffel bags, scanning the unfamiliar terrain. Heat waves shimmered above the asphalt, carrying the scent of fuel and sand. There was no time to pause. The buildup was relentless. Additional sorties were already inbound, each carrying hundreds more troops and tons of critical gear. Soldiers adjusted their helmets, checked weaponry, and fell into formation under the watchful eyes of base personnel. The atmosphere was tense, electric, A mix of anticipation, adrenaline, and the unknown. Every movement was urgent, every ramp. Drop was a countdown, a heartbeat in a larger operation whose end remained invisible. The base had become a temporary home, a staging ground for strikes yet to come. No one knew when they would return, only that the mission demanded total readiness. The sun had long set, leaving the base bathed in the harsh glare of floodlights. Rows of fighter jets, including F-35 Lightning II and F/A-18 Super Hornets, sat like silent predators on the apron, engines cold but eyes sharp. Mechanics and weapons crews moved with unbroken focus, a well-oiled machine in motion. JP-8 fuel hissed into tanks, gauges ticking as over 80,000 gallons were distributed across 30 aircraft. Guided bombs, GBU-39 and AIM-120 missiles were mounted with surgical precision, wiring harnesses connected, chocks removed, arming pins left dangling until the jets were cleared for takeoff. Each aircraft underwent repeated inspections of avionics, flight controls, and engines, ensuring flawless performance for the next 72 hours of non-stop sorties. Meanwhile, C-17 Globemaster IIIs were cycling in and out, delivering additional 2,500 troops and hundreds of tons of armored vehicles and supplies. Soldiers moved quickly, securing gear, checking weapons, and following base. Protocols with no hesitation. The tarmac was alive with motion, yet every step was precise. Every heartbeat synchronized with the clock of war. Pilots arrived, briefing complete. Engines roared to life. Jets taxied in staggered formation, taking off one by one into the night sky. The operation was no longer preparation. It was execution. Every moment measured, every second critical. The base pulsed with urgency, anticipation, and the knowledge that the next strike could come at any second. The cycle of deployment, arming, fueling, and launching continued without pause, a relentless testament to military precision and resolve.